Vach, ladies and gentlemen, Shavua Tov, welcome to Congregation Bnei Yitzchok, better known as Rabbi Obam Shul, for a community-wide gathering on behalf of Eretz Yisrael. We're going to be starting off the evening by calling upon Rabbi Shmuel Marcus, the Mari Da'asra of Isha Yisrael, to give us divrei chizuk. The rabbi will follow with 2 or 3 kapitel of Tehillims. Without further ado, Rabbi Shmuel Marcus, please.
Thank you, Yaniv, Rishos Rabbi Goldwasser. Just 2 weeks ago, we shuddered upon hearing the news of a father, of Yaakov Littman, a brother, Netanel Littman, who were brutally murdered on the way to celebrating the upcoming Ofruf of their soon-to-be son-in-law and brother-in-law. And incredibly, just this past week, just 2 days ago, so many thousands of Jews worldwide watched, not just in person, but online, the chuppah, the chasana, the celebration of the wedding of Sarah Techia Littman, who upon completing the Shiva that postponed her chasana, married her chassan Ariel Beagle this past Thursday night. And it was so striking to sense the tension, the palpable emotional conflict that you felt watching that chuppah. How is it possible to have coexisting in such close proximity the pain of a premature tragic loss and bereavement on the one hand, orphans mourning the loss of a father and a brother, at the very same time celebrating exuberantly and dancing at chasana? And that same night, Thursday evening, hundreds of yeshiva students and residents of Beit Shemesh attended a memorial gathering in memory of an 18-year-old American boy, Ezra Schwartz, who was just brutally killed. And from that emotional get-together, they were bussed into Yerushalayim to dance at this chasana. And one wonders again, how can somebody at the very same time suffer such emotional sadness and then celebrate that same evening, just an hour later, at such a simcha? And perhaps Klal Yisrael's unique ability, and in fact responsibility, to do just that, is precisely what the message of Hanukkah is all about. Because the Gemara in Shabbos Chaf Aleph and Beis, when it defines what the essence of Hanukkah is, the Gemara refers to Hanukkah as Yamim Tovim B'Halal V'Hodah, days of Halal, of praise and thanksgiving. Halal we understand, we say Halal every day in Hanukkah. What's the Hodah that makes up the essential lesson of what Hanukkah stands for? Rashi says Hodah is the Alanisim. Yet in the Rambam, you will find not one mention of Alanisim anywhere in Hilchos Chanukah. It appears as a detail in Hilchos Tefillah, what you say in Shemona Esrei over the course of the Chanukah Yom Tov, but not one mention in all of Hilchos Chanukah of Alanisim in the Rambam anywhere. Inconceivable that Alanisim is integral and essential to Chanukah and doesn't appear in Hilchos Chanukah at all. What then, according to the Rambam, is the Hodah that Chanukah represents? Where do we find and express Hodah in Hanukkah? The Rambam speaks of Hodah in Hilchos Chanukah not in connection with Alanisim, but rather when he speaks of lighting the Neros Hanukkah. The lighting of the Neros Hanukkah is, says the Rambam, to express Shevach v'Hodah to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How or why are the Neros Hanukkah chosen as that vehicle and medium through which we express Hodah? Why do Neros Hanukkah symbolize Hodah of Hanukkah more than anything else? And perhaps the answer can be found in the words of the Sfas Emes, who writes so beautifully that the nace of Hanukkah was be'or, was with light. Why? V'hu limtzo ha'ara hagenuza. Because it's in order to enable us to find that hidden light, gam b'choshech u'begalus, even in the darkness and in exile. The light of Neres Chanukah represents that ability of Klal Yisrael, even when there is choshech enveloping us from time to time, to see through that choshech and to find that illumination, that ha'ara, that illumination that is hidden within the choshech. To be able to celebrate a chasna despite mourning a loss. The two coexist, especially in Hanukkah. Even when we are still begulus, we find that ha'ara hagenuza, we find that light, that illumination of Neres Hanukkah to celebrate and to give hoda'ah for. This is perhaps best expressed as well by the Kala's younger brother, who's standing at the chas in front of a picture of his deceased father and brother, said to an interviewer, I just said Kaddish for my father and brother, now I'm going to sing Boi Kala for my sister. From one to the other, to find the ha'ara hagenuza b'soch ha'choshech u'begalus. And speaking just this morning to a member of my shul who recently made Aliyah to Eretz Yisrael a few years ago, he works in a medical clinic in Yerushalayim. He told me, he said, it's not just that life goes on for us in Eretz Yisrael, that we carry on, perhaps with a little more caution, but as always. But he said, but you sense, you see, you feel an incredible achdus and resurgence in Avas Yisrael. And he treats in his clinic the range from Haredi to Chiloni and everything in between. He said, you see just a greater sense of love for one another, of care and concern for each other. One of his patients is an individual who himself was stabbed 5 weeks ago in the head and in the arm, now undergoing therapy. And this individual walks into the clinic and he is mechazik everyone else there in the waiting room. We'll get through it, we'll be okay. It's incredible to see how despite the choshech and the galus, such ha'ara, such illumination, such chizuk coming from that very victim of the choshech and the galus. That is what Hanukkah, the Hodah of Hanukkah is all about. And perhaps as we prepare to recite just a couple of kapitlach of Tehillim, we should pause to reflect upon this one thought. We all want our tefillos to be most powerful, most effective. Rav Shimshon Pincus writes in his Sefer Sha'ar B'Tefillah so beautifully on the pasuk in Eicha, Perek Beis, Kumi Roni Balayla, get up and cry out at night. The Rosh Hashmuros, Shifchi Kamayim Libech Nochach Pnei Hashem, pour out your heart before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The word Roni, cry out, is the same word as Rina, to sing, to praise. And Pincus writes so beautifully that it is a segula atzuma, it is an incredibly powerful segula when one finds that he is behest Sarah, to daven not just with tears and in distress, but to be misbonin b'tovos of Yisparach, to look for the beautiful goodness and kindness that HaKadosh Baruch Hu bestows upon us. And one is capable, even behest Sarah, even b'choshech u'begalus, to sing and to give shavach v'hodah. That is what makes our tefillos the most powerful and most potent that they can be. That in mind, we'll say a couple of kapitlach of Tehillim, Shir Hamalos, the two usual kapitlach that are often said, Kuf Chaf Aleph, Kuf Lamed, and then perhaps one that speaks a little bit more about the shavach v'hodah and the brachos that we're grateful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom alos, esoy nayel harim, me'ayin yavo ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai, yosei shamayim v'aretz. Al yitei V'chein lamot raglecha al yanum shomrecha. Hinei lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomerecha, Adonai tzilecha al yad yaminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka v'yareach b'layla. Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra yishmor es nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzeisecha v'echa me'ata v'yad olam. Shira malos mimamakim krasicha Adonai. Adonai shema v'koli tenos necha kashuvos l'kol tachanunai. Im abonos tishmor ya Adonai miyamad. Ki imecha salicha leman divrei. Ki visi Adonai ki visa nafshi v'ledvaro chalti. Nafshi l'Adonai mishamrim laboker shamirim laboker. Echel Yisrael el Adonai, im Adonai achasad v'beimo fidus. V'hu yiftes Yisrael mikol avonosav. Recite just a few psukim speaking about the beauty of Achdus and Klal Yisrael and Kuf Lamed Gimel. Shira malos leDavid, hinei ma tov u'manoim sheves achim gam yachad. Kashem en atov al harosh shered al hazakon, zekan aron shered al pimidosav. Kital chamon shered al halarei Tzion, kisham tziva Adonai es habracha chayim ad holam. Chenu kol beis Yisrael anusunim b'tzor v'shiv yomdim bein bayam v'bein b'yabasham akom yachem aleihem yotzeim yitzal levacham nefer le'or meshiba l'gula shtav ha'galav zman karivin amar amen.
Shkach Rabbi Marcus, please find your seats. On behalf of the Chazaq organization, Chickens for Shabbos in Nevada, Rabbanim of Queens, we'd like to thank once again everyone for coming. At this time we're going to be having the honor of hearing from a world-renowned lecturer, renowned author, a man that inspires thousands of people. Without further ado, Rabbi Dovid Goldwasser, words of inspiration, please.
Good Tvach, Shvua Tov. It's good to see everybody. I just want to say that the Chafetz Chaim, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, who didn't see that clip? Who didn't look at the few minutes of real time of Chafetz Chaim walking to the Asifa? It's amazing. The Chafetz Chaim said in the end of his life, if he would have the koach, he would go from city to city. He would go from place to place to be ma'orer, to inspire and to excite people in Avodas Hashem, to bring them closer to Hashem, to bring the footsteps of Mashiach a little bit closer. I am jealous of Rebbe Yaniv. I am jealous of the rabbi in all that he does, because he follows the words of the Chafetz Chaim. And with his programs and all that he does, and Torah Anytime, and whoever is involved, Chickens for Shabbos, everybody, there isn't any greater mitzvah that we all can be involved in than Harbatzas HaTorah, spreading Torah throughout the world. There is nothing greater on a Motzei Shabbos to make such an evening It's Berumo Shalolim. It's at the heights of the universe. Yelchu mechayel el choyel. A lot of times in our generation, we have the question, what can I do? Me'anu, mechasdenu, matzidkosenu, what am I able to do? I'm a basar v'dam, I'm a flesh and blood. What am I going to add? So many great tzaddikim and noshim tzidkoniot. Me, just I'm a plain guy, I'm a regular man, a regular woman. What can I add to the whole effort? It's interesting that we say every day, Re'eina v'anyenu v'riva rivenu. Hashem, look at our afflictions. Riva rivenu. Ugoleinu and redeem us leman shemecha, for the sake of your name. Now it's interesting. There's the gulas haprat, what I need. What I need. I need in this world a number of things. And I have a shopping list. And when it comes to Shema Koleinu, I take that list out. And that could be the time that I speak to Hashem most during the day, during those few minutes in Shema Koleinu. Gulas haprat. Whatever everybody needs, and everyone in Klal Yisrael, they should have whatever they need. Whatever a person is missing in their family, they should have it take up from miyad. And then, there's the gulas haklal. The general gula, what we all need, what we're here about tonight. The gula shalema, the redemption, psuros tovos, that there should be good news for everybody. That all of Klal Yisrael, and every yid, no matter where they're at, no matter if they're in the Charmon, no matter if they're in the settled areas, no matter if they're in Australia, if they're in France, if they're in Italy, if they're in London, no matter where they're at, in Syria, in Egypt, in Lebanon, in Iran, Iraq, they should be safe. They should be at peace. Uvau ovdim, and all of those that were lost all over, they should come together in Yerushalayim. But how do I bring that about? This is a world, maybe a universal effort. Where am I? I'm just one little person. So it's interesting, we say Re'eina v'anyenu, and we talk about the gulas haprat, what I need. Hashem, look. Ayin, look in the Mefarshim. See what we're asking for in that tefillah. You'll be surprised what the Mefarshim say. Then all of a sudden, we turn it in to the gulas haklal, Goal Yisrael. Then later, in the Shemona Esrei itself, as Samach Dovid Avdocha Meheros Hatzmiach, V'karator Mishuasecha, Hashem, bring the Yeshua, bring the salvation. The whole world needs the salvation. The whole world needs Tikkun Olam. The whole world needs to be put on the right course. It's so off right now, morally, ethically. The whole world is upside down. Olam hafuch, like it has never been in the entire world. A world upside down. Whatever is right is wrong, and whatever is wrong is right. And you look at it. The United States of America has to be reminded, one of their boys were recently, without saying anything bad on Motzei Shabbos. So an email has to be circulated to remind the United States of America. The United States of America is the Medina Shel Chesed, the greatest country in the entire world, together with Eretz Yisrael. There isn't a question about it. But what's the reminder? To recognize that it happened, that it didn't happen, to say it's one of our boys, it's not one. What's going on over here? So it's interesting. It says that the Geula Saprat is only before the Geula Saklal, so that we should understand that I think I don't have the power. I do have the power. One Yochid, one single person, has the power to sway the entire world. Anybody here this evening, at any age, boy, girl, man, woman, I don't care who they are, have the power to effect a change in this world. Stop waiting on someone else. Stop waiting on the next person. Stop waiting on, I don't know who will call a meeting and everybody will get together and work. It is up to us. Listen to the words just for a moment from the Tzemach David. You will hear something this evening. I believe it's Kedai just for these few sentences, but I ask you just wait till I'm done with the shmooze and then you can leave. Here we go. Yesod Nifla. This is a wondrous foundation. Geulas Am Yisrael, the Geula, the redemption of the entire world. Listen to this. The entire world, Nimtza Biyad Adam Yachid, is found in one person's hand. Maybe somebody right here in Beis Medrash. Maybe someone here. We don't know. Adam Yachid Yachol Lishnot, the person has the power to change es Pnei HaHistoria. You can change the entire world, history, to change the matzav of every Jew in this world. Chazal tell us in Kiddushin, La'olam yireh adam atzmo ki'ilu. We should look at ourselves, as everybody knows, as if I'm half zakai, half chayev. I'm half guilty, half innocent. If I do one mitzvah, if I do one good thing, if I help out a Jew, if I give tzedakah, if I learned this evening, if I came to this kinus, if I try to help my mother who needs a little help, or I remember to call her up, or I listen to somebody who's a little bit sad, or I help a little child that is having a little difficulty in school, and is having a little difficulty with his or her friends, and isn't so popular, and I'm mechazek them, that individual will do one mitzvah, will be machriya. They could cause themselves to leave the place where they're half and half guilty, half innocent. They will be then zakoim. They will be the one that is meritorious, and they will sway the entire world. Kol ha'olam kuloi. All Bnei Yisrael are also, who knows, maybe half and half. And if I do that one mitzvah, doesn't matter which one it is, doesn't matter which one you pick. A kapitel Tehillim is always good. A perek Tehillim. Whatever an individual does, I just swayed my own din to be victorious, meritorious. I swayed the din of all of Klal Yisrael, all Jews everywhere, that they are now meritorious. That's a difficult thing to say. Do you know there was a drought in the Holy Land, in Eretz Yisrael? No rain. No rain. What do you do when there's no rain? We know what to do. No, you open up Gemara Tainis, you take a look, what they did, the Seder. Simple. You go and you pray, Mashva Ruach, you have extra kavana, and the rain comes falling down. Not always. So in Eretz Yisrael, it didn't rain. All of a sudden, miraculously it rained. Do you know what Rav Steinman Shlita said? Rav Steinman, the Gedol Yisrael, that we breathe from their words, Shemipiem Onu Chayim, that we live from their words. Rav Steinman said, I am sure that somebody in this world was Omed B'Nisayon. They had a test. They had a challenge. And that day they stood a challenge. That day they could have ganved, and they didn't steal. That day they could have looked on the, without saying it in the Beis Medrash, and they didn't look. That day they could have spoken back to a parent, and they didn't. That day they could have gambled, Mesachak Bekuvya, and they didn't. That day it was on Shabbos, and they were tempted to do something, and they didn't do it. Shmiras Einayim, in the middle of the street, and they turned away. Something they shouldn't have heard, and they closed their ears. Oznayim Nikiot, innocent ears. He says, I am sure that today somebody had a big nisayon. Some man, some woman, some boy, or some girl, and they passed it. And that is the reason why the rain came down. So when we read, Adam Yachid Yachol, one person is able to change the face of history, we understand that it's all talking about you and me, about all of us. Now I have to tell you the truth. Before we start to understand how do we bring the Geula, you and I, and do our part, and change the world, which we have the ability to do, one thing is very important, that we recognize our own kochot. We recognize our own powers and our strengths. We know what we can do, and we know what we cannot do. And you know, it's an interesting thing. When somebody calls you or somebody talks to you, we can't have an automated response. Automated, like there's a thing, you get the email, so you put automated response. Yes, I received your email, I read it, it's very interesting, I'm going to respond to you in the next days or so. You didn't read it, but it's automated response. Great. That's automated response. A guy calls me up, it was 1 o'clock in the morning. Automated response. Pick up the telephone after I wake up and come back to this world. Hello? He says, yes, Rebbe, I would like to do an Aveira. I said to him, how could I help you? It's an automated response. I'm not in the business to help. Automated response. Individual has to gear in to what is being said. What is it that we need to do? A guy is calling up, you got to help. We have to recognize in our own self, not to have an automated response. Not that I wake up in the morning, Hashem, thank you. I'm here in this world, and you know what? You're very lucky, Hashem, that I'm here because I got great kochos, and you don't know what I can accomplish, and you don't know the world is standing in my schus. No way. When a person wakes up, they got to start to look at themselves. Take out a Mesilas Yesharim. Look what it says about introspection. Introspection. I got to search my deeds out. Because we fool ourselves a lot of times. I could walk around, I could think I'm the greatest. And we should think we're great. Rabbi Elimelech Lejen said you keep 2 pieces in your pocket. 2 pieces of paper. On one, Bishvili Nivra Olam. The world's created for me. And the other one, Anochi of a wafer. And we're somewhere between the two. We keep somewhere between the two. So, what do I have to remember? That I constantly need to know exactly what I can accomplish, what I have accomplished. I have to know where am I holding in life. Esau, very interesting. Esau, everybody knows. Esau, he was somebody who could have become great. Esau was destined to become one of the avos. One of the avot. We would say every day in Shmoneh Esrei, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov, Elokei Esau. We would have said that every day with a smile. Oh, what happened? He didn't make it. Yaakov Avinu and his descendants, they wore a talus. They wore a beautiful talus. But you want to hear something? The Gemara tells us, Esau, he also wore a talus. He also bought a big, beautiful talus, wool, non-slip, everything, all the hidurim, big ones, right? What did he do? He wrapped his talus, he wrapped his head up, he went and he sat in the middle of Gan Eden. Esau snuck in. Huh. How's it possible? How's it possible? Ramban writes about what happens in the Shari Gan Eden, that there are malachim that watch it, that there's a sword back and forth. How did he get? There's fire in Gan Eden right in the gates. How did he get past? So he comes into the gates, and the malachim say, excuse me, who are you? So he says, what do you mean, who am I? I'm the son of Yitzchak. Son of Yitzchak. My grandfather, Avraham Avinu. Did you ever get a wedding invitation and they go the whole thing? Yichus back to David HaMelech and Moshe Rabbeinu and all that. But who's the chassan? Who's the cow? But the Yichus you got up and down the road. All right, good. Son of Yitzchak, right? Oh, grandson of Avram, Ben Achar Ben. Oh, Rebbe Shekin. Come right in. Gan Eden. He goes into Gan Eden. It's beautiful. He sits down. Oh, beautiful. Not only he sits down, but he takes a seat, Mizrachvant, right in the front. He knows where his seat is at. You think he's going to sit in the back? No way. Esau sits in the front. Very interesting. So what happens then? The Malachim begin to check. They cannot find his name anywhere among those that are supposed to be sitting in Gan Eden. Two malachim came and said, listen, we're sorry, but your name is not on the list. It's not on the, you're not there. So he says, must be a mistake, computer mistake, something wrong with it. I am sure that I'm supposed to be here. Why? Because it says the Rasha, Afila Pische Gehanim, the Rasha, when he's standing by the doors of Gehanim, he tells the people, you got the wrong man. Not me, somebody else. Not me. I'm okay, I'm clean. So they went back. They told him, Esau, we are very sorry. Your name is on a different list. You are destined for a different place. Your destination is Gehinnom. Oh, Esau said, I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm going to stay. So the Malachim were afraid of him. They went up to Hashem Yisbarach and they told the Borei Olam, Hashem, what are we going to do? We're afraid. He's spoiling the Avirah. The whole atmosphere in Gan Eden is now being spoiled. The tzaddikim are running out. They don't want to sit next to him. Oil Rashai, whoa, no way. They don't want to sit there. So what does he do? He doesn't know what to do. They can't get him out. Hashem said, interesting, a pasuk in Malachi. Take a look at it. Take a look at a wondrous pasuk. What does the pasuk say, Rabbi Isai? You're not going to believe it. Hashem does not hate anybody. We don't use that word. However, behest Esau, sonesi. Esau I hate. It's Malachi Aleph, Gimel. Behest Esau, sonesi. I hate him. Oh, Hashem never hated anybody. Why does he hate Esau? That's a very interesting question. Now, Borei Olam comes and confronts Esau. Hashem comes to confront Esau. Esau, what are you doing here? Esau says, listen, Hashem, did you find anybody that can be mechabed his father like me? Did you ever find someone that gave honor, that fulfilled the mitzvah kabed es avicha v'yasimecha leman? Did you ever find anybody? Before Esau went to serve his father a tea, he took a shower. He was tovel in the mikvah. He put on royal garments just to serve his father a tea. And he did. Hashem said, it's true. It's a mess. You did show your father great honor. However, that was only external. What did you say? What did you say? You are waiting for your father to die in order that you should be able to go and kill Yaakov, your brother. That's the honor? You're waiting for your father to die. That's how much you love him. That's how much you respect him. You don't respect him at all. It's only external. It's only outside. Says the great Rebbe Nisim Yagen, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, why did Esau come and wrap himself in the talit? You know the reason? Because it's all chitzoniut. It's all external. It's all a show. It's all the outside. It's all what people can see. But inside, how did he feel? Inside, what did he think about the mitzvah of kibbud av va'em? He didn't give it any credence at all. No chashivas, no importance, nothing whatsoever. A mitzvah was nothing. It was dispensable. It was a tissue to be thrown away. It was something that was so transient, lacking any value in this world. That's what Esau had to do. But outside, he put on the big talit. One more interesting pasuk that we have in Tehillim. In Tehillim, what is Esau compared to? Chazer miya'ar. Interesting. Another pasuk. Tehillim Pei. Look it up when you go home after Malav Malka. Pei Yud Daled. Pei Yud Daled. Yichasmena chazer miya'ar. Be ravaged by a chazer, by a boar in the field. That is Esau. However, Esau did certain things in order to show why is he a chazer. What did the chazer have that was kosher? Chazer. What did he always do? Stuck it out. Look at me, I'm kosher, I'm good, I'm from, I go with the hat, look at me, spitz. No way. Either it's inside or it ain't. That's what we learn from Esau. Esau, unfortunately, could not learn the secret of the Mesilas Yesharim. He couldn't understand what we are supposed to do. We are supposed to take a good look in the spiritual mirror, in the mirror of Ruchnius, and say, how am I doing? What is it about me? Am I true? When I'm saying the tefillos, do I mean it from my heart? When I'm asking for the geula, do I mean it from my heart? Do I say the same Re'ena v'onyenu as I do Shema Koleinu? Do I say the same Tekabi Shofar Gadol Lecherutenu? V'sanes Gabetz Kol Yosenu? Hashem, gather in all of the Goliaths. It's enough already. I don't want to hear about anything. I don't want to hear good. I only want to hear B'suras Tovas. I only want to hear of Yeshuas. I only want to hear of Simchas. I don't want to see any more of the other kind of headlines. Should all stop. So if a person says the tefillah of those tefillos in the same way when they say Shema Koleinu, Hashem Yisparach, here's my list. If they say it in the same geschmack, with the same intensity, with the same feeling, with the same concentration, with the same excitement, so then already it's quite different. We have to assess ourselves to know which level we're on. Or else, Esau goes, takes a front row seat, and he says, this is where I'm sitting. You know, it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing, I have to tell you. I have a good yedid, Yanki Meyer of Misaskim. And I got to tell you, one of the most beautiful things that happened the whole year, one of the most beautiful, is that all the children gathered together in Bobov. And they have girls in, I forgot the name of the hall. The boys gathered together in Bobov, thousands from all the yeshivas, and it is also broadcast in all the different cities. I had the schus for the past 2 years to be there together with the children. And it's something amazing. If you hear the Yehei Shmei Rabbah, I tell you the truth, it's a question, which is greater? That mincha with all the children, they say Yud Gimel Midas HaRachmim, is that greater or is Nila greater? Or Ne'ilah, which one is greater? I don't know. If Chalila b'Chalila I'd have to choose, I'm not sure which one I would choose. So, Yankee tells me that he gets a message. There is somebody sitting right in the front where the child who is to be honored is sitting, right in the front. He's an elderly man. He goes over to the elderly man and he says to him, excuse me, sir, this is right now here for the children and they're chashuvim, they're going to be here. If you'd like, we have a special seat. They have seats on the sides, and the balabatim are invited, and there are women, and there's a snoshim. You could sit there. The man said, I will not move. Yankee Meyer says, but sir, this is not for you to be sitting here. This is a very big kinus, and I realize you'd like to sit here, but we have a special place to sit for you. He said, I will not move. Yankee says to him, I want to ask you nicely, and I'm begging you, could you please move to the other side? He said, I will not move. I had 2 children, and those children were taken in the time of the Shoah. And here is a picture of my children. And they're going to be here today. So I will not move. Yankee left him. When it came time for someone to be the shliach tzibur for mincha, he chose that elderly man. Mi yodea. Who knows? The power of every single one of us is much greater than we give ourselves. What shall I tell you? We give ourselves credit for. We're judging ourselves all the time. I have this much ruchnius, I can daven this long. I can do this much chesed. I can give this much tzedakah. I can go this far. I can do this, I could do that. Who knows what we're capable of? Inside we have a neshama. We say it every morning. We got to believe it. Elokai neshama shenosata bi tohirahi ato v'rasa ato yatzat ato nefachta bi v'ato mishamra b'kir bi. If I believe I have the neshama, I believe that my kochos are huge. I believe that I can do something that is very great. That is much more than I allow myself to think that I'm capable of. All of us. We have powers that we did not yet unlock. I guarantee you. We have powers that are so huge that no matter who an individual is, what we can accomplish with our tefillos, with our chesed, with our mitzvah, with our learning, you don't know, because we underestimate. And what does the Satan try to do? Tries to make us sad and upset. What does the Satan do the day before Yom Kippur? He's inoperative on Yom Kippur. He can't do anything. So what does he try to do? Says the great Rav Moshe Kubrin, he makes us a little sad. So we don't believe in ourselves so much. So on Yom Kippur I think, yeah, but it's really mechaper. Do I really get atonement? Am I really forgiven? Is it really... I'm going to try as much as I can, but no. A person shouldn't fool themselves for 1 second. The koach of a human being is huge. It is beyond whatever a person thinks. And with the koach of Torah, with learning, with being involved in a shiur, like this evening, or anywhere, or any time, or any sefer, or any limud, do we realize the power that accomplishes? Do we realize as the minutes tick on, that it's not a minute of learning, it's 60 seconds, and for every second there is another schus? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what the schus of Limud Torah is. There was a fellow, unfortunately, came to me during the summertime. And the guy, I'm going to tell you straight, the guy, Nebuch, was on drugs, addicted, very, very sorry. Went to yeshiva, did well, and then unfortunately didn't realize and fell into addictions, big time. He came to me and told me I should give him chizuk to go to a program, to get the help that he needs to be in treatment. And I gave him the chizuk. But he told me, Rebbe, you won't be disappointed at me. I said, why? He says, well, I don't do mitzvahs anymore. I said, what do you mean you don't do mitzvahs anymore? You came here. That's a mitzvah. You came to be Shalom. That's a mitzvah. Why do you say that? No, I mean, and he started to list the mitzvahs he doesn't do anymore. Ke'ain, that he was standing and being mitzvah, as he was confessing. I said to him, listen, I tell you the truth. You got to hold on to something. If you don't hold on to anything, so what are you? I said, do one thing. He said, okay, tell me what I should do. I said, you're going to the center. I was there one time. It's far away from everywhere. Very little semblance of anything Jewish and hundreds of miles around it. I said, I'm going to tell you one thing. Don't let one day go without at least 5 minutes learning. I don't care what you learn. I don't care which sefer you have. Doesn't matter to me. Whatever you enjoy, you take it. Go back to your old library. If you want, take any of the books in my study, whatever you want, take it with you, but learn 5 minutes a day. That's the only thing I ask you to do. He said, 5 minutes? I said, yeah, is that too much? He said, no, 5 minutes I could do. He shook his hand. He took my arm, hugged me. He left. Went to the treatment center in the summer. He lost all connection with everybody. Anything Jewish was completely gone. However, Nes Nifla, Kihem Chayenu V'orech Yomenu V'hem Negeh Yomah B'layla. The Torah is what we got. That's it. Lulei Toratcha Shashuai Azavarat Be'onye. If I didn't have the Torah, I would be lost. And I tell you, I would be lost. if I didn't have the Torah. So every day, when he goes into the common area, I remember, I will never forget when I saw it, he sits there. There's a big screen on the wall, and people are going and coming in. And he takes out his little sefer, and he learns for 5 minutes. Unfortunately, fortunately, he doesn't have any chavrusas there. Nobody else Jewish. One night, disconnected from everything Jewish, not knowing which day it is, which week it is, where it's at, he takes out his sefer and he begins to read it. Before he knows it, there's a guy that comes in, and by the way, during the time when he takes the sefer, he puts a kippah on. He puts a yarmulke on, which I'll say is a lot for him. He's sitting there in the common area, he's reading it. A new guy came in for treatment. He just arrived, and it's nighttime, about 11 o'clock p.m. The guy sees him. He walks straight over to him. He stands over his shoulder while he's reading the sefer. The young man says to him, excuse me, are you reading now the Kol Nidre? Are you reading now the Kol Nidre? Guy looks up at him. What you mean? Are you reading the Kol Nidre? He says, what are you talking about, Kol Nidre? He says, look, I'm a Jew. I go once a year to the synagogue. I go to temple one night a year. That's it. I go the night of Yom Kippur. My doctor said I got to miss it this year. So instead of going to the synagogue, I came here. He said I had to come. The first time I didn't hear Kol Nidre. And I see that you're saying the Kol Nidre. When that guy realized that Hashem sent him a shliach from Shemayim, a messenger like that from Shemayim, the guy said, there is a God in this world. There is Ribbon Shalom. Slowly but surely began to come back little by little to Shmiras HaMitzvahs. What did it? Only the kesher to learning. Ki heim chayenu ve'orech yomenu. There is nothing in this world that is as powerful as us learning. But we got to know. We got to understand. We've got to look at it squarely and say, this is my life. This is what I need to refine myself. My midos. My choices in life. What do I do? Who do I hang with? Who do I not hang with? What do I get involved in? What do I listen? Is it important that a person should turn on the internet, even for information, even about the Holy Land? You know what the great Melitzer Rebbe said when they once asked him, Rebbe, you don't have a radio? You know what he answered? He said, listen, I tell you the truth. The good news I'll hear anyhow. The bad news, who needs it? It's the truth. Think about people that are Mora Heter. They give themselves all kinds of dispensations. They look at it. Can I ask anybody here? I won't ask anyone here. Everybody is holy. Everyone's good. I'll ask people outside. Did they ever tune into something on the internet, and by accident, something came on that they didn't want to see? Could happen. Once in 120 years, could happen. Maybe twice. Know yourself. Know what you're holding. Interesting. Yetzirah tries to tell us, listen, live in oblivion. Live in oblivion. What did Yaakov Avinu ask? One question to the Saro Shel Esau. One question he asked to that Malach after fighting with him. Somebody, let's go. What did he ask him? What's your name? What's your name? Just give me your name. We've been fighting together. What's your cell number? Oh. What did the Saro Shel Esau say? Why are you getting personal? What are you asking my name for? I don't want to do that. What's so bad about the name? What's so bad? Oh, the Aryoel says, you know what's so bad? Because the Yetzer wants to operate under a guise. The Yetzer Hara doesn't want you to know who he is, what's his name, what's his social security number, what's his specs. Doesn't want you to know anything. He wants just to fool everybody. He wants to pull the wool over everybody's eyes. Once you know him, once you can point to him, then already he's lost. He's gone. And how do we see that? We realize it. The Gemara says that one time he appears like a tzaddik, one time he appears like a rasha. Once he's rich, once he's poor, once he's old, once he's young. He wants to keep you guessing. What we do in this world is we learn who is the Yetzer Hara. And he says an unbelievable mashal. And mashal is unreal. I don't want to talk about this in the Beit Midrash, but let me just mention it anyhow. There was a guy that never went to the movies. Never went to a movie theater, right? All of a sudden, he goes inside, he doesn't know what it is, and he sees the most beautiful things on the wall. Like there's a horse coming, and then there's another thing, and a carriage, and there's an interesting diamond. He says, wow, I got to see this even better. So he's got a huge, huge searchlight. He turns on the searchlight and points it, and you know what happens? Everything disappears. Everyone in the theater begins, I'm Shigana, turn that thing off. You're ruining the whole Avira for us. You're contaminating this place, right? So what's he doing? He doesn't realize it. Yetzer Hara operates under the guise of darkness, oblivion, fools us, doesn't let us see things for what they really are. When you turn on that light, when you bring the Ora Torah into life, he's finished. The lights are on. He's discovered. The emperor in the cloak. And it's all gone. That's what a person has to understand. To understand what the Yetzer is to us. Let me just take a minute. So what happened? The Kedusha of the Kohen Gadol, right? Kohen Gadol was very great. He didn't see things that he shouldn't see. He didn't hear things that he shouldn't hear. The day that was the most holy of the entire year, Yom Kippur, where did he go? Kodesh HaKodashim. He went inside, Lifnai v'Lifnim. What did he have around his foot? Had a chain. Just in case something would happen inside, if he would die, they had to pull him out. Had to pull him out. Now, we know what is it that could have caused the death of the Kohen Gadol. What could have caused the death? Machshava zara, a stray thought. A stray thought. Not an improper thought, but a thought that did not have to do with his avodah, with his service of Hashem then. Unless there was complete devekus, in intention, in sincerity, in complete devotion, that would be it. Chazal tell us there was a tekufa, there was a certain age, a certain span of time, where unfortunately it wasn't the same. Kohanim weren't the same. Their appointments weren't the same. And the Kohen Gadol would die each year on Yom Kippur when he went in. So, each time Am Yisrael would wait outside, b'charada gedola, they would be trembling because they would wait to see the fate of the Kohen Gadol that year. Rebbe again asks an interesting question. The Kohen Gadol, let's say, is number 29. He's the 29th. They established a special Beit HaChayim, a special cemetery for the Kohanim. He walks past from a distance and he sees 28 Kvarim. He's number 29. He's got the number on him, like the football, 29. Okay? What's he doing? He's going inside. He's going Lifnai v'Lifnim. How could he go? He just saw everybody in there lying down. How's it possible that he went? What's he doing? He whistles while he goes in. What's he thinking? What's in his mind? Ask you a question. How is it possible that he goes? Elomai, He thinks he's a tzaddik gamor. He's a complete tzaddik. So he goes in, and he's not afraid. When he talks about onu matirim lispalal im havayanim, when he talks about the arvanim, the guys that do the averis, he knows who he's talking about. The guys on the other side. Him, he's in the tzaddikim corner, the press box reserved for tzaddikim. That's where he's at. And unfortunately, when he goes in, he's not makir himself. He doesn't take a reality check to see who he really is. If he would only look and he would only try, he would know what he has to do. All of us, we are all great. We all have so much. We don't even know the koichos hanefesh, the great powers that we all have inside of us. The only thing is, we have to bring them forward. We have to understand that the koichos are inside of us. If we have a nisayon, we have the power to pass it. Hagoyin Rabbaran Kotler said, if something is tempting you, doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter what the test is that a person is staring in the face, doesn't matter whether it's the text, doesn't matter whether it's the internet, doesn't matter whether it's a false dollar made that they should or shouldn't, doesn't matter whether they didn't talk to somebody for a while because they're in a machlokes right now. I'm strict with that person. I don't talk to them. What do you mean don't talk to them? You make shalom before you go to sleep at night. What do? You meichel everybody at night. You say I'm meichel everybody at night, don't you? What do you mean? I'm meichel everybody except for Shimon ben Mordechai. I'm not meichel that guy. And Leah bas Cyril, forget about her, man. I'm going to tell you. You're off my list. Forget it. Do you say that? Or do you say I'm meichel everybody? But I'm really not meichel them. Well, yeah, you're meichel. You're not meichel. You're talking to Hashem. Midvar sheker? Tirchak. We're going to lie to Hashem. I'm meichel everybody, but not really. Hey, if you think I'm going to be meichel you got to be kidding me. How do you say that? Is emes or not emes? Mechila. I know the person didn't mean it. And even if the person did something, take a look at Rabbi Elchanan's works. Take a look at the great Goin Rabbi Goldwasser and Sechet Tzaddik Livrach Hashem Yimkam Damai, my Rebbe's father. Take a look what he says. Not so simple. That person may have done something, but let's face it, there was a reason why that happened. That person shouldn't have done it. But I got to take my complaint elsewhere. I got to take the complaint inward and say, Goldwasser, Cohen, Betesh, you got to look out for yourself. You got to know what's causing your own life to go in one way or another. So if we understand the power that we have to be omed b'nisayon, to stand up in the face of a test and a trial, if we can understand the value of one mitzvah, if we can understand what we are all here in this world, ki heim chayenu v'orech yomenu, to take one sefer and learn one thing. It doesn't matter if you like Shmir Saloshon and Mesilas Yesharim or Kedushas Levi or Likutei Maran, or you take a look at the sefer from the Vilna Gaon, or take a look from the Baal Shem. It doesn't matter you read Peleyoitz from Rebbe Eliezer Papa. It doesn't matter what you like. Take something. Make it your sefer. Don't let it leave you. Every day, when you sit down at your table, have that sefer there. Before you go to sleep, have it right next to you on that bedstand. And don't ever go to sleep without learning. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes, Rabbi Isai. That's all I'm going to ask you. That's all I'm going to say. Because in those 5 minutes, Adam Yachid, a single individual, Yachol Shanot, et Pnei Historia, you can change this world. Shavua Tov, Agot.
Shkach everyone for coming. Thank you very much, Rabbi Marcus and Rabbi Goldwasser, for the words of inspiration. Once again, thank you very much to Chazaq, Chickens for Shabbos, and the Vada of Queens for co-sponsoring. Whoever is interested in possibly sponsoring or co-sponsoring future shirim in memory or for a loved one, please come see us and let us know. We'll be more than happy to arrange something.